Wilder Show podcast. I'm Scott. That's Lauren.
Hello.
How you doing today, Lauren?
I'm doing great. How about you?
You doing good?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I'm okay. Instagram, find us there. If you want to find us there, you'll search Wilder Show Pod, and then you'll like it and all that. We appreciate that. If you want to send us email, it's podcast@wildershow.com. The Wilder Show podcast drops Tuesdays, Fridays, 6 a.m. Central Time or before on Spotify, Apple Podcast, iHeart, Amazon, YouTube. And on the TikTok now and again, wherever you get your podcasts, would you like, rate, follow, subscribe, and share and comment? Even right now, before we start, you could comment right now.
Just say hi.
Just say hi. Just say, how you doing? Gomer says, hey. There you go. Remember that old thing? Hey to Gomer. Gomer says, hey. Hey to Gomer.
I do.
All right. Goober says, hey. Hey to Goober. Hey to Scooter. Football. Got to talk about football. Huge football weekend. Man, that one play, Chicago. I don't know if you saw it or not. If you watched it. Oh, my lands. Now, they ended up losing the game. The Bears did.
Yeah.
You'd have to just see it. It is the most remarkable quarterback. Williams scrambles back, 25, 30 yards, and just flings the ball. Touchdown. And it wasn't like a Hail Mary. It was like the guy was open. It wasn't like a bunch of guys that had popped up in the unbelievable. Anyway, it was it was a great weekend of football. I say great. Every team except one that I was rooting for lost. Every single one. Buffalo, I was sick.
Yeah.
And I'll tell you something else. That was a catch. A Dallas Cowboys fan, harken back to the Green Bay Packers play of what is a catch, what is not a catch. That was a catch. And the very same play, I mean, almost exactly the same play when it was the LA Rams, they called it a catch.
Yeah.
It was just, so a lot of people think that, the fix was in against Buffalo Bills. I don't know that.
Were you pulling for the Seahawks?
No, because they were playing San Francisco.
San Francisco. Yeah.
I like Purdy.
Okay.
I like Purdy. I like him a lot. Anyway, Buffalo Bills lost. Among those who lost, Buffalo Bills fired their head coach, Sean McDermott.
I saw that.
After 9 seasons, put it in perspective, for 8 of the 9 seasons, he has taken the Buffalo Bills to the playoffs. In those 9 seasons, he is the second highest rated win record in all of the NFL. But they hadn't made it to the Super Bowl.
That's all that's really all it came down to. I was going to say, like, if he's not safe, who's safe?
Nobody. Well, there are 10 openings. 10 were fired. Now, the good news for Sean McDermott is he's great. He's a great defensive mind, and he's going to find a place fairly quickly, I would guess, probably for more money than he was making for the Buffalo Bills. But, Buffalo Bills get a brand new stadium next year, and that would have been fun for him to, see the fruits of all his labor. In any case, I feel bad for Josh Allen. Josh Allen literally was crying.
Yeah. I
mean, not just, but he was really crying.
Pretty sad.
It was very sad. I love Josh Allen. Anyway, so that was not all of mine lost. At least I wasn't Reese Donatelli. Do you know who Reese Donatelli is?
Nope.
She's a young girl whose dad has her up on social media. And she's a little girl, and his little thing is she predicts football games.
Okay, maybe I have seen this.
And it's called Trust the Toddler.
Okay.
Now, let me tell you something. She did a very difficult thing.
What did she do?
She lost every prediction.
No way.
It's as hard to go 8-0 as it is to go 0-8. But none of hers proved to be true anyway.
And we're supposed to be surprised by that.
Yeah, but you flip a coin, you're gonna have some that would win. Anyway, so she predicts winners of NFL games. In this case, she got them all wrong. It went viral. She had some pretty funny misses and sometimes accidental cursing.
Really?
Mm-hmm.
But she's in timeout now.
Yeah. Probably just boosts her numbers.
Maybe so.
Even toddlers have to get their numbers up.
Yeah, but if you lost them all, I mean, maybe it's the accidental cursing that got her numbers up. Is that right?
Yeah. Let me say a word about Curt Cignetti. You know who Curt Cignetti is?
I do not.
All right, we'll say a word about the CFP, the college football playoff, the championship game last night in a second. But Curt Cignetti he's the very stoic coach of Indiana.
Okay.
So we have Indiana University, the Hoosiers, against the Miami Hurricanes. And that's who played last night.
Is it Hurricanes or is it Miami Hurricane? I'm asking really because I don't know. And it reminded me of one of my dad's favorite dinner table games where we would play.
As an S or not an S?
Like name 4 or 5 college. I'm trying to think of what it was. Probably 5. He wanted us to name 5 college mascots that don't end with an S.
The Cardinal was one.
Cardinal was one. Fighting Irish
Crimson Tide
was one. Crimson Tide was one. Would Mean Green? No, Mean Green. They're not, because that's not. They're the Eagles, so that's not really. Illini.
The Illini. They are Hurricanes.
They are Hurricanes.
They are the Hurricanes, plural. Yeah, the Illini.
It's not like it's not that I didn't believe you at all by any or trust you, but it reminded me of that thing that we used to do that way that my dad used to keep his daughters, only daughters, engaged at the dinner table.
Yeah. Curt Cignetti is their very stoic coach. He is a guy who rarely gets mad. He rarely gets excited. And if you've watched him on the sidelines, he has a very interesting superpower.
What's that?
He can look directly at whatever camera is looking at him. It is the oddest thing. Like, those cameras are far away. They're all the way across the stadium, right?
Yeah.
They're all the way across the field. Sometimes they're up in the booth, and he'll be doing something, looking down at his play list, and he will look up directly at that camera.
Is he trained as an actor?
I don't know what the deal is.
He knows how to he finds the lens.
Isn't that weird, though? Anyway, I bring this up because Cignetti, they in the whole broadcast of football, you have the people in the booth, and for the most part, those are men. They're introducing some women in some games, but usually they're men. You have one guy that is sort of traditionally the broadcaster, broadcasting background. And then you have somebody who is from the jock background. So that's the color, the play-by-play in color. So you have Jim Nance, who's the broadcaster, and then you have Tony Romo, or you have Kevin Burkhardt, and then you have Tom Brady, or you have Joe Buck, and then you have the broadcaster, and then you have the jock, your soul cycle buddy.
I was just going to say,
Troy Aikman.
My workout buddy.
But then you also have the other people on the sidelines. Now, the people on the sidelines are different. Usually they're attractive women, and usually they're not as old as the people in the booth.
They know what they're talking about.
Yeah,
don't they?
I'm not saying they know what they're talking about.
I'm asking really.
I think so. Yeah, sure. I mean, Erin Andrews, of course, she's a little older, but some of the ones at college, they're a little younger.
I have a funny Erin Andrews story and a way to know if my sister's listening. But we'll do that later. You go ahead.
Okay. So young, attractive, not that attractive matters, just telling you the visual. Young, attractive, usually ladies.
Attractive matters.
No, I know it does.
But go ahead.
But I meant for my story. But the point is, use young. They usually do a deal right before the halftime. Coach Cignetti, what do you have to do next? Well, we have to score more points. And what else do you have to do? We have to play great defense. Okay, thanks, Coach. And then Coach runs off. Well, at the end of the game, that put them, this not this last night's game, but the game that put them in the championship game. It was a huge win. It was a great win. And at the end of the game, this young reporter, female reporter, puts the microphone in front of his face. Remember, this is Indiana Hoosiers.
Yeah.
The Indiana Hoosiers football coach. And she says something like, "What about that game?" And here's what he said. "Make a hell of a movie." Not a hint of understanding on her face.
No.
She had no idea, has never seen Hoosiers, and Gene Hackman doesn't know that's what his reference is.
Yeah.
And so she says, "And who would play you in the movie?"
Oh, man.
It was so embarrassing.
Yeah.
Anyway, so I meant to say that actually before the championship game. I also have a tie to Indiana Hoosiers. You know that, right? I have a tie to the Indiana Hoosiers.
I do remember you telling me that.
Well, my college roommate, Scott Smart, there, and is big shot there.
Yeah.
At Indiana University. And so, anyway, congratulations to the Indiana Hoosiers. Erin Andrews.
Yeah, my sister, big Dancing with the Stars fan, has been for I don't know if she is as much anymore, but there was a solid decade there where she and her daughter, my niece, watched and traveled to Los Angeles. Now they live not far from Los Angeles, so it wasn't like a cross country trek. But they'd go for the finals. You know, they've been in the live audience, and she was visiting here with us once, and it was a Sunday afternoon and football was on, and she saw Erin Andrews on the sideline. You know, for a long time, if you're not a fan of Dancing with the Stars, right. Erin Andrews was a fixture. She was a host on Dancing with the Stars for a long time. My sister sees her on the sideline and says, "Oh, I didn't know Erin Andrews did football too." It's like, well, yeah, that's how that is her main thing. That's how she rose to prominence and was even, offered the Dancing with the Stars gig. But I just thought that was cute. How we can our whole we're in one lane, and those are the only references that
all makes sense to us.
Yeah, absolutely.
Funny. I have a weird thing about words, as you know. The kids, I Spy versus I Spy. Yeah. As words come together, and even words. I'll give you an example. I was sitting at an A&M game. We had had season tickets for a couple of the years, and sitting there, and you could rent out the seats to then put in, with a seat with a back in it.
Okay.
To sit on the bleachers or wherever it is. And so the seats, but you had to rent them out. And on the back, it had the website, and the website was AggieSeats.com. And of course, I parse that every other possible way, right? Which could also be, for people who are not Aggie fans, AggiesEatS.com. So I say all that. I'm kidding, of course, but that really is the website. There was also a recent Anderson Windows TV ad that had a phrase that, taken the way I heard it, seemed completely inappropriate. I'm sure I can't say it on the podcast. Do you remember what it was?
I don't, but
it
if
was
you
something
think
about
you
my
shouldn't
brother,
say
Don.
I'm oh my goodness, yes, I remember that.
So you were surprised that I heard it that way.
No, I wasn't surprised that you heard it that way. I wondered how many times I would have to hear you say it.
All right. Larry Ellison, you know who that is, right?
I do.
Larry Ellison, Jewish founder of Oracle.
Oh, yes.
You know the story?
I do.
Oh, doggone it. Major pro-Israel donor. Been in the headlines recently. An old story, a decades-old detail about Larry Ellison. He had bought a yacht, and the yacht was originally, I think it was built for a Japanese businessman. 191-foot super yacht.
Wow.
Named for a Shinto deity. There are two Shinto deities that, according to their lore, gave birth to the Japanese islands. That's what the legend
if I say
says.
It's not because I'm familiar with that legend, but go ahead.
So you have these, it'd be like the Norse gods, and they came in and they birthed these two Nordic islands. It's like that, but it's with the Japanese.
Okay.
So the Shinto deities, quote, gave birth to the Japanese islands, or at least that's what the legend says. Well, the name of the gods are Izanami and Izanagi, okay? Izanami and Izanagi. Those are the name of the deities. And his was named, again, built originally for a Japanese businessman, right? So it makes sense. You name it for the deity. And,
sure.
and that yacht was named Izanami.
What's the problem with that?
Yeah, because a reporter pointed out that Izanami, spelled backwards, is I'm a Nazi.
That's terrible. How
could he not have known, or how could someone around him not have known? How could he ever board a boat that had that as its name?
With that much money, it seems like you'd have somebody who is paid just to make sure stuff like that doesn't happen.
Maybe when you have that much money, no one around you wants to tell you something that is counter to what you want to hear.
Yeah,
I don't know.
I guess that could be it too. That's pretty embarrassing.
Israel's defense system, Greenland, and Trump. I'm going to tie all these together if I can.
Okay.
You know what the Iron Dome is? What is the Iron Dome? Do you know what the Iron Dome is?
No.
The Iron Dome is Israel's mobile air defense system. It's the thing that intercepts and destroys all those rockets and artillery shells and mortars, CRAM, that kind of stuff. It fired from between 4 and 70 kilometers, so between 2 and 40 miles. Anyway, it protects, the area. So it's developed by some defense systems group, but in partnership with the United States. Okay. Mm-hmm. So it uses radar, it detects threats, calculates the trajectory, launches interceptor missiles. That's why in the whole thing with Gaza, you could hear about the number of missiles. 2,000 missiles were fired on, Jerusalem, but like 3 got through.
Right.
Because of the Iron Dome. So it's the Iron Dome. So that's what the Iron Dome is. It's all weather, it's mobile, it's automated, it's sort of a multi-layer defense. They have a system called David's Sling and Arrow, different ranges. Anyway, developed back in 2006. So that is the Iron Dome. So what is the Golden Dome?
I don't know.
You probably guess. It's what Trump wants because gold is better than iron, and to have it for the United States, right?
Yeah.
And it is more like Star Wars. Remember, and it wasn't Ronald Reagan that called it Star Wars defense system. It wasn't Ronald Reagan. It was said about the system that Reagan wanted to put in place. It was the Strategic Defense Initiative, SDI. Anyway, so this is more like that. So about a year ago, the president signed the executive order directing the Air Force or Air Forces to begin construction on the Iron Dome for America before the end of his term. So wants it done before he's out of office. So it's called the Golden Dome, but it really is more just the SDI, the Strategic Defense Initiative, or Star Wars, come to life. And if you remember what that is, it's weaponizing space. It's in space. We'd be able to see things going on there. Pew, 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 it's
crazy.
Scary. It's kind of scary. The whole thing is kind of scary. Anyway, I bring all that up because President Trump going after Greenland is actually very important to the development of the Golden Dome. So, you go back in time, you say, what is important for defense of the United States? And you say, well, it was this or it was this. We talked about the Monroe Doctrine and protecting our hemisphere. Well, that was in a day where you have to get on a ship maybe, or planes would have to come, a long way to get to your hemisphere. We don't live in that world anymore.
Right.
Everything is much smaller than that. And so the president wanting this Iron Dome and now saying we really need Greenland and we're going to get Greenland one way or the other. Part of that is because of its strategic location for the Iron Dome. Now, that's all sort of just background stuff. Now, it doesn't excuse the letter that he wrote, and I'll get to that in a second. I'm not going to read the whole thing. I just want to remind everybody, he plays the media like a fiddle. He plays the other side like a fiddle. He does a lot of stuff that is really just about negotiation. So let me just allude to the letter for a second. He basically is saying this. He pens this, what's described as a deranged letter, with a thinly veiled threat to Europe, suggesting that peace is no longer a priority since he lost the Nobel Peace Prize. So he's saying, so you didn't want to, solving 8 wars was not enough. Maybe I'll give up on peace. I mean, that's sort of the thing he's talking about. So he's blaming Norwegians for the fact that he did not get the Nobel Peace Prize. He says, "Dear Jonas, considering your country decided not to give me the Nobel Peace Prize for having stopped 8 wars plus, all caps, I no longer feel an obligation to think purely of peace, although it will always be predominant, but can now think about what is good and proper for the United States of America. Anyway, he goes on. The whole thing's silly. I wish he wouldn't do stuff like that because it's just a massive time waste. But he does because that's, who he is. But all he's really doing is playing. He's playing the media. He's playing the left. It's a head fake. It's a distraction. It's prestidigitation. Is that what magician work is?
Oh, yeah.
Isn't that prestidigitation? Yeah. You're looking one way while something else is going on somewhere else. Anyway, I wouldn't worry about it. It doesn't really change anything.
No, so none of this changes your opinion on whether or not we will invade Greenland?
No. We'll take Greenland, I think, but it won't be an invasion. They're going to find a way. Look, Greenland's got to know. First of all, again, 56,000 people live there. They only live around the edges of that massive island. The whole thing is a big block of ice. Do you know that no one who lives on the island of Greenland has any personal property? You can't own property in Greenland. I mean, America could bring some good things to the people that live there, but we won't invade them. However, when we talk about, there's a whole thing called the Arctic. I can't recall what it's called. The Arctic something, and it's invasion of North America across the top, if you believe the world is not flat, the top of the world, and that Russia, China would come that way. They wouldn't come across, or don't come around the fat part of the globe. They're going to come down from the top, and Greenland is important. There are rare earth minerals. I don't think we're doing it for this reason. There are rare earth minerals, though, in Greenland that I think would be very attractive to China and Russia. So, as I've said before, part of the value in it being under our care is that it's not under somebody else's. Yeah. We don't want them as our neighbors. We bought into this gated community to keep Russia and China out. We don't want them as our neighbors. So if we have to reach out and take another piece of land and build a fence around that, then that's our new bigger HOA, which includes Greenland, all 56,000. Just one point of personal privilege before we get to scattershoot. Growing older, I am. I guess we all are. Mm-hmm. But growing older, and in checking my memory, you know that I have two tests.
I do. I know. Well, I know one of them for sure.
One of them is the Rubik's Cube.
Oh, yeah. Okay.
Can I still solve the Rubik's Cube? It stands before me as I am here in the studio, solved. Mm-hmm. And the answer is yes. The other is what? Can I still name all seven original members of?
The band Chicago.
That's right. And you know why I picked that band? It was one of my favorites in the 60s and 70s.
First concert, right? Wasn't that your first concert?
It was my first concert. Growing up in the 60s and the early 70s, we'll get back to Chicago in a second, we lived outdoors. That's one of the things I really think I wish our kids and now grandkids could really experience is the joy. Maybe it wasn't the joy of being outdoors. It's just that there was nothing going on inside.
Yeah.
There was nothing going on inside. Mm-hmm. Some did, but nobody really stayed in their house. If you were a kid, you were outside.
If you were inside, chances were you were missing something good going on outside.
That is the truth. And we spent hardly any time indoors. I mean, even if the weather was bad, we'd be outdoors.
We knew how far we could go on our bike. Mm-hmm. Like we used to talk about our boundaries. Mm-hmm. Yep. And when you had a birthday or when it was summer vacation again, this summer vacation, you had new and wider boundaries. Yep, how far can I ride my bike that way without telling my parents where I'm going? How far can I ride my bike that way without needing to get special permission?
I've talked about riding the bikes down to the Crawdad Creek and go crawdad fishing. Go even further, quite a bit further. Go to the 7-Eleven, get a baseball trading cup with a Slurpee in it, and sit out there on the curb and drink our Slurpees. Your first concert was what? What was your first concert?
I've tried to remember this. It was either the Captain and Tennille or the Carpenters.
Nice.
I started saying, and this is a great thing. I love that my parents did this. We started seeing concerts early enough, so early that I wasn't really aware of how important it would be to me later to remember which one was my first.
That's funny. Well, that's
and
good.
I know we saw, it also might have been Anne Murray. We saw Anne Murray too.
Snowbird. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. I'm going to blend all those things together because I had really bad news this last week. I got a note from a friend that I hadn't spoken to in, I don't know, a couple of decades, I don't think. And she just sent me a note, and she said that, I won't name him, but she sent me a note that one of our friends growing up had a massive stroke, and that it did not look like he would, make it through the weekend.
Oh, no.
And this is a guy that's 2 years older than I am. It also is the guy who took me to my very first concert.
Oh, wow.
We had first row seats to see Chicago.
How did you swing that as teenagers?
Probably he invited somebody good, but they couldn't make it. And so he invited me. We both played the drums. He was a drummer, but he was more of a percussionist than a drummer. Look, I became a drummer because I didn't want to read sheet music. Mm-hmm. I went to business school because I didn't want to learn another language or take that much science. So it had nothing to do with an attraction to business and not necessarily an attraction to the drums. But it was the things I didn't want to do that kind of relegated me to this thing. Anyway.
He was a musician.
He was. He was very much like that. Knew notes and how to read. I didn't know any of that stuff and had no desire to learn it. But he was a drummer and I was a drummer. And I think he was 17 and I was probably 15, or maybe I was 14. He was 16. And so he had a 1970s, early 70s Chevy Monte Carlo. And it was in that Monte Carlo that we went to my very first concert and sat in the front row at the Tarrant County Convention Center and saw those original 7 members of Chicago. And so later that day, after I'd gotten word that he was bad off, I sent that woman, that girl, I'll say girl, it's a girl my age, a note and said, "Where is?" And I named him. And she said, "I just found out that he died." So he passed. Yeah.
So sorry.
So, yeah. And the other thing that I'll tie him into, he did not go outside and play as kids. We were out there. He lived, the Taylors lived right across the alley from us. And it was Marty and Philip and Karen. And then next door to them on one side was this guy. And he was the only child.
Yeah.
Redheaded guy. And
maybe that's why he didn't go outside.
Maybe it could be.
There were always kids who were indoor kids.
Yeah, and we'd be outside, playing baseball in the street, and right in front of his house, and we're like, come out, don't stay in there, come out.
He knew he was going to get sunburned. Yeah,
maybe so. But we did all that in the alley. We would ride our bicycles down, and those were the days of Evel Knievel, and so we built little ramps and jumped trash cans. I remember Marty jumped like 7 trash cans. I think it was the record. And slid.
You didn't do that.
No, we did, for real.
7 trash cans?
Yeah, we put them the short way. They're laying down on their side.
No, that still just seems like a lot. It seems like a lot of trash cans.
And I think his back wheel caught the 7th, and it slid right under this guy's dad's Delta 88.
Ooh.
And he was sort of stuck under there for a bit. Anyway, so all that is tied together, checking my memory, Chicago, my first concert, outdoors in the early 70s, and my buddy.
As a further tribute to your buddy, my first question when you said front row seats was, how did he swing that? Because I'm forgetting that was before bots and scalpers were getting all the best seats.
And you couldn't buy them online. And you couldn't buy them on the phone.
That was when you went to Sears, that's my memory at least, and sat out in the parking lot all night long to get the best seats. Those were the days, man.
Yeah. We were, from the stage, we were down like not center, but a bit center left.
Yeah.
And you could see all those guys, Robert Lamb, Walt Zader, all of them. Jerry Cath, Peter Cetera, Danny Serafin on the drums, of course.
Even more respect for your friend now that I know he probably sat in a Sears parking lot all night to get those tickets.
Probably did, Anyway, rest in peace, my buddy. It is time for a scatter shoot.
Let's go.
Wilder Show Scattershoot. All right. If you have not liked, rated, followed, subscribed, share, commented, you can do that right now. Just give the thumbs up or whatever. That'd be great. It really helps. I've noticed a little uptick in some of the metrics. So thank you. If you've done that, it matters. People go, yeah, believe me, if you just say, hey, Scott and Lauren, or hey, Scooter and Lori, whatever you're going to say, as somebody did, all that interaction, it's weird. It's so foreign to the way, we really are. But it matters.
San Francisco is going to make childcare free for families. Yeah. So this still seems crazy to me. Making childcare free for families earning up to $230,000.
Sure, they barely get by at $230,000.
I mean, well, we know how expensive San Francisco is.
I was sort of kidding, but yeah, out there it is like that.
And really, when we've spent time in San Francisco, you have a kid who lives in San Francisco, so I've spent time there. And what I always, whenever I see families in the city that I can tell, you can just sort of tell they're not tourists. They live there. Either they're riding bikes down the street, or there are schools. One of the places that my kid lived was right next door to a school. So school would be getting in and out during the day. I do kind of wonder, how do they afford to live here?
I don't know.
How do you afford to live here with any kids, but certainly more than one child?
No, I go beyond that and say, why? Why do you? I mean, you know what I mean? You are just giving away so much of your money in taxes and services, and maybe it's worth it. If it's worth it, then do it.
I think there is a draw for some for being home. Being a place where you've spent your whole life.
Yeah, sure.
And then also, depending on the kind of work that you do, I mean, some places will adjust your pay based on where you live.
And speaking of work, you have some places that are just, Silicon Valley. That is the place where this kind of thing.
This is where I do my thing.
That's right. This is where the work gets done. And so until that's spread out a little more, if you wanted to work for Apple Corporate, you were in Cupertino.
That's right. That's right. Well, this was last week that San Francisco's Mayor Daniel Lurie announced the initiative as a part of his family opportunity agenda. And it came along with a bunch of other things: housing, education, food, healthcare, transportation, and other programs focused on affordability. They want to keep families there. They don't want families to have to leave because of things like this. I remember paying for childcare, and I remember what a huge chunk of income that takes. According to U.S. Department of Health and Human Services guidelines, childcare is only considered affordable. I think you and I both learned this recently. If it takes up less than 7% of a family's income. That is really, really hard to come by.
Sure it is.
So I was kind of wondering how they would pay for this, because the first thing you'd think is, taxes. Taxes are going to have to go up.
Nothing is free. It's a matter of who pays for it.
Yeah. So I thought this was kind of interesting. They'll use unspent tax dollars that were collected after voters approved Proposition C, or they actually called it Baby Prop C in 2018. That was delayed at the time. The unspent funds amount to more than $550 million. And families will be able to access free or reduced cost childcare from more than 500 providers citywide. So it's not like you're just going to be able to, pay grandma that money. You will have to. I'm sure it is a massive undertaking to figure all of this out, but we'll see how that works. You are one of my favorite optimists, so I've been saving this story just for you.
I'm sorry. I thought you were talking to me.
Yeah, you're the only one here in the room. Yeah. Being optimistic. We've talked about this a lot. Yeah. If you're optimistic, things are just going to go better for you, even if they don't really go better for you.
That's right.
If you're hopeful, so many more things are going to go your way.
Or seemingly so.
It's just going to make you happier. Whether things turn out, and look, I'm talking to myself too. Yeah. I don't think I'm really. I wouldn't consider optimism, one of my predominant traits.
No, I think you're very optimistic. I mean, you're I mean, you and I have worked together for 38 years. You'd have to be an optimist to think, well, maybe tomorrow,
to get better.
Maybe tomorrow will be the day. That's a lot of optimism.
Well, I do. I get a kick out of hearing you describe yourself. Not only are you not an optimist and you're not a pessimist, you're a catastrophist.
That's right. Not even a realist. Yeah, I'm not a realist. I'm not even a fatalist. I'm a catastrophist. I think nothing is going to go well.
Well, it turns out that being optimistic can even boost your immune system, according to research that points to a connection between our mind and our body's natural defenses.
I believe that.
We've already talked about how people can respond better to, treatment when they're being treated for some illness. If you're an optimist, you're going to respond better. This study talks about the activity in your brain's reward system when you're getting a vaccination. So your immune system might actually produce more antibodies than others after having the shot if you are optimistic. Doesn't necessarily mean that hopeful people can, rid themselves of disease, obviously, but it does hint at the potential for mental strategies to help the immune system fight infections and even attack tumors to keep them at bay. They say it's the first demonstration in humans in what seems to be a casual manner that if you learn how to recruit your reward system in the brain, then the effectiveness of immunizations increases. They did it. They had healthy volunteers take part in a brain training session in which they tried different mental strategies to boost activity in particular parts of the brain. They knew how well they were doing thanks to real-time feedback in the form of scores that rose in line with the brain activity. So after these 4 training sessions, the volunteers were given hepatitis B vaccine. Then they gave blood 2 and 4 weeks later, which researchers analyzed for antibodies against hepatitis. And the scientists found that the people who boosted activity in part of the brain's reward system, it's called the ventral tegmental area, had the strongest immune response to the vaccine. And those who boosted it most successfully did that through positive expectations or just imagining good things were going to happen.
I have long, as you know, been a believer in the whole mind-body connection.
Yeah.
People think, so if you have a positive attitude, then you're saying that it means this for your physical. Well, yes, it can. I mean, that's actually proven. It can. But it also works the other way. Your physical impacts your mind.
Of course.
So it's both those things. And I go back to Dr. John Sarno's book.
That's just what I was going to tell you. I just heard somebody reference that over the weekend, but I can't remember. Who it was. It was in a podcast.
Yeah, listen. Yeah. If you have chronic back pain, neck pain, if you have chronic migraines, this will sound crazy. He's dead now. But if you will get the book, it's just called Back Pain by Dr. John Sarno. And I believe it's Sarno.
It is.
I promise you, if you will read it, you'll be amazed at the results. Now, it's not magic. If you have a physical slipped disc in your back, that's not what we're talking about. But if you're a person who has been through a deal where you have migraines, and then that goes away, and then you have neck pain, and then that goes away, and you have back pain, and it's chronically, almost like in the old days of Rolodex, just those 3 things just keep coming up. Go to the next one, flip it, go to the next one, go to the next one. It's like it's always something.
Yeah.
If you will read Dr. John Sarno's book, the pain is real, but it is about what is the source of that pain. Let me give you an example. You ever been, let's say you're lying down in bed and you're going to sleep, and you think you're pretty relaxed. But then you notice, I'm kind of tense in my shoulders. And then you really relax and you go, wow.
Makes a difference.
That is completely different.
Yeah.
I'm kind of melted into the bed now. I was sort of hunched up on my... Those things have physiological impact. So your nervousness, your tense, your tension, all those things. And I used to have migraines. I used to have back pain. You remember this? I used to have back pain like crazy. Honestly, I read Dr. John Sarno's book, and other than maybe a couple of times after helping Caroline move or physically doing something.
Mm-hmm. Where you wrench it a little bit or something
I have had
like
zero
that,
back pain. I do not have migraines. It doesn't happen.
Mm-hmm.
I can't remember the last time I had a headache.
Did you
honestly.
read it cover to cover?
I did.
Okay.
And it is, you'll read it and go, oh, come on, really? Really? But if you'll just read it and think about it. Hey, you know what? If it doesn't work for you, great. Then
pass it on to somebody else.
Give it to somebody else.
Good recommendation.
You're welcome.
I know you watch a lot of I don't want to say television. It's more you stream a lot of stuff. You spend a lot and
sometimes, yeah.
Usually I've told people before, ask Scott if he's watched it, and before you have the title all the way out of your mouth, he's going to say yes.
Yeah, saw it.
Yeah.
I only watch stuff because it's on.
I don't know how careful. I don't know how carefully you watch things. I think sometimes maybe you doze during things,
sometimes,
or maybe you're not even really watching, but you're listening.
Yeah, sometimes.
Which is probably not really. You're not really getting it.
If I know it's a good thing, or if I really want to watch it, I will watch it. I like one-screen shows, but I want you to explain that again.
Yeah, a one-screen show means that you really have to watch it. With your whole attention. You can't have it on while you're also scrolling on your phone.
Second screen, got it.
Yeah, if you have a second screen and you can still follow what's going on the first screen, chances are either it's not very maybe it's not really it's not a serious show. It's sort of maybe what you'd call fluff, or maybe it was written and produced with you in mind. Which apparently, have you seen this stuff? Matt Damon was, I think he talked about this on one podcast, but it's been all over the news all weekend, and just we've requested Matt Damon for our podcast. He hasn't. He hasn't responded yet, though. But if he's making the rounds, I'm sure he's going to get back to us anytime. But he and his buddy Ben Affleck have a new movie on Netflix. It's called The Rip. I don't know anything about it. I don't know whether it's something you'll love or whether it's family friendly or anything like that. But it is right now the most watched film on Netflix. But he's had some really interesting things to say about Netflix. And they're not really good things. He's talking, I don't know, maybe it's not a bad thing about Netflix. I mean, what it kind of tells me about Netflix is that they know their audience.
They're responding to the people.
Yeah.
It's about the people. The problem is with the people. It's not with Netflix.
It kind of says not very good things about us, maybe. He said that that Netflix asks filmmakers to dumb things down a little bit. That you've got to have a big action set piece really early to keep viewers interested. It used to be like maybe within the first 20 minutes, you needed something really big, but now, like within the first few minutes, you've got to have some bomb go off or something like that to really get people's attention. Golly. He also talked about how you have to reiterate the plot with the dialogue, like 3 or 4 times in the movie, just to catch people up. A lot of this has to do, obviously, with the way we're watching things now. If you're at home and the lights are on and the kids are around and you're in the middle of cooking dinner and you're doing other things, of course, you're not going to be able to spend that big chunk of time just sitting down like you would you would in a movie theater. So I love the movie theater. You know how much I love seeing movies in the movie theater. But I can watch a movie at home and find myself, it might be a movie that was in the movie theater and I just missed it when it was in the theater, so now I'm streaming it. I can do all the right things. I can have the whole house quiet. I can have everything dark. And I will still find myself reaching for my phone in a way I would never do in a movie theater. Right. So I'm kind of wondering, is this really, I always kind of go to, and I know you do too, maybe, I try to fight against it a little bit. That when I read this, I think this is really bad news. We're losing out on this way that we used to be able to experience movies, and you still can do that. You can go for maybe 2 weeks and see a movie in the movie theater, and if you don't get there, then you can see it on streaming in a very short amount of time. And I always think of that as a bad thing, but I'm trying to play devil's advocate a little bit. Is it a bad thing? Is there some way that this can be saying something good about us other than that we're just let's see, how does it put it in one of the things that I read about Matt Damon.
I think it is literally the attention of a goldfish.
Could that be preparing us for something good, though?
I don't know. I don't think so. I don't know. It seems, it seems like, I don't know.
I'm just trying to be optimistic
No,
here.
yeah. I'm not talking to the wrong guy.
We know why Netflix is doing this. They have all the data. They know how long we watch things. They know when we tune out of things. They know if we stop something at one point and then come back. You know, how many times did you pause in the middle of it? They're doing it because they know us.
But isn't it play devil's advocate? Isn't it a chicken and the egg thing? When you create things like that, then I don't have to pay as much attention. But if you make it where you can be dumber than ever and still feel smart, doesn't it make it more likely that people will simply fall to that floor?
I guess so. Here's another thing that makes this interesting, though. It's not everything on Netflix. I haven't seen Frankenstein. Have you watched that? Have you seen that on Netflix?
I haven't.
What about Train Dreams? Train Dreams is getting a lot of
Never heard that.
Oscar buzz.
I'll have to go find that.
It's sort of like if you're watching the smart movies, they know you're not going to have your phone in your hand.
Right.
It almost sort of divides us. You know, if you're going to watch a Matt Damon, Ben Affleck cop drama, then, which I'm sure I'm oversimplifying it,
No, I understand.
then they don't expect you to be as careful about the way that you watch it. But if you're going to watch something a little headier, like Frankenstein or Train Dreams, they know that you're going to have the proper
attention span or whatever.
Yeah.
So I will watch both before we do the next podcast.
Okay.
And I will give you some report.
I'll try to do that too.
About them. Yeah, let's do that. That'd be fun. To give a little report. Sort of do a what are you watching segment.
Speaking of reports, I have not been back to the windows of the health club to see if Quitter's Day really applies.
That's right.
I have to do it. I drove by there at a different time of week. It was on the weekend, and I thought it's not really fair to compare that to any given Wednesday night later in January than that early January Wednesday night. So I have to do that too.
Speaking of unfair, it is unfair to have the fitness place right next to the pizza place.
Tell me about it. Isn't it? You walk out of the pizza place, with your face kind of hidden. Although, I can tell you that the backs of the people who are working out are to you as you look in the window. Yeah. So you can't see anybody's faces, and they can't see you. Speaking of January, you dry January. You've heard of it? The
people who have had a particularly alcohol driven holiday time immediately go to. Dry January.
An alcohol-free January. Yeah. Well, apparently 1 in 6 dry January participants will consume cannabis beverages instead.
Yeah, they're not crazy, Lauren. They're not going to give up everything.
So it's not, you can't really call it it's not really a sober January.
No, it's not.
It's a dry January. Yeah, about 17%. 17% said that they will enjoy mocktails during dry January. 17% said they might have a non-alcoholic beer. Sure. And 17% said that they will enjoy some sort of THC beverage that, and I'm quoting here, still offers the social ritual and mild intoxication that people enjoy without drinking and without the toxic metabolic burden alcohol creates.
Yeah. Well, let me speak to the to some of the people in the crowd. You don't need those things to have a good social experience. In some cases, those things are impediments to a good social experience.
Maybe I'm naive. When I've heard people talk about dry January, I really thought they meant like a sober.
But in the old days, it did mean that. I mean, until now, you have this other thing that you can do. It used to be that all cannabis, weed, gummies, whatever, all those things were not legal. And so there weren't sort of workarounds.
Yeah.
If you weren't going to drink, it would mean you would not get inebriated.
Right.
When it was only alcohol, I think that's how it started. The whole point was it's good for your body. I mean, if you do that
it's
before.
It's a good detox.
Yeah, it's a good detox. Start the year right and, you did all that stuff. Okay, now be done with that for at least a bit Give yourself 31 days. They did pick a longer month, though, I must say. Pick February. It's the shortest month. Well, I don't know what's going on with the weather. Have you looked at the forecast? I want you to look right now at the forecast.
Okay.
Look at the forecast.
It was cold over the weekend.
No. You don't even know cold. Look at your forecast for the weekend coming up.
What the heck?
I know.
15?
Wintry mix. It is coming this weekend. Get those pipes wrapped back up, everybody.
Yeah.
Cover the plants and bring the kids in.
Do it now while it's still sunny and warm.
Can you believe that?
Man,
now,
man.
It may change, but it does not look good, does it?
You know, at church over the weekend, when we all greeted each other and say hello to somebody that you don't already know, don't shake hands with somebody that you came here with,
sure.
Meet somebody new. The question was, I went to the 11 o'clock service, and they said at the 9 o'clock service, people were really bundled up.
Yeah, it was very cold.
So it's already gotten a little bit warmer, but when you turn to greet your neighbor, ask them, do they like these 20-degree mornings, or are they really just trying to survive through these 20-degree mornings? And the person I talked to said he really likes the 20-degree mornings, and I said, I just try to remember that it's going to seem like 5 minutes before it's 112, for 90 days in a row. Helps me appreciate it. But this, I don't know, 15?
I would just say don't put off until Saturday, wrapping the pipes and doing all that. I'd say try and get that done, sometime this week before it becomes, necessary.
Yeah.
Anyway, so good luck and bundle up. That is the Wilder Show podcast. Find us on Instagram. You'll search Wilder Show Pod and like and rate and all that. If you want to send us email, we'd love to hear from you. Lauren would love to hear from you.
I would.
Podcast@wildershow.com. Me too. Wildershow.com. Podcast@wildershow.com. The Wilder Show podcast drops Tuesdays and Fridays, 6 a.m. Central Time, or before on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, iHeart, Amazon, YouTube, wherever you get your podcasts. Like, rate, follow, subscribe, and share. We're also on the TikTok sometime. And Lauren, thank you.
Thank you.
And we'll see you next time.
do.